Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you may be tuning in. This is Yonks, and on my screen, we've got yesterday's office hours. We are actually in a myIRA.Fund office hours, and I haven't copied our template over, but this is the Google Docs where we have been organizing our live stream challenge. And this is day 37 of a 180-day live stream sprint and marathon that we are embarking on. And today we're going to go through myIRA.Fund. Let me actually just copy this over here because this has got our office hours on it. Oh, duplicate. And so here we go. I'm going to insert our image. So join with me. We've got the core team that has been building to launch a minimum viable product for myIRA.Fund, which we are positioning as the on-chain IRA solution for Americans. IRA is an acronym for Individual Retirement Arrangement. And I would say most often people actually refer to it as an individual retirement account. And account's actually rather limiting. The official term with the IRS, and this is absolutely an IRS created thing, it is a tax advantage arrangement. And most often it's normally just a single account. And we actually want to bring on-chain technology to this in to unlock some of the decentralized finance or DeFi capabilities that exist. So where we are at, we're going to be bouncing in between this particular tab. And before I get into the details of today, I'll always talk about our Feld culture, fun, earning, learning, and giving. But as you can see here, our office hours are geared to be rather loose and informal. And I would like to hear from other people on the conversation as far as what unfolded surrounding myIRA.Fund while Mrs. Yanks and I were on holiday this past week. So, on that note, I'm going to go on mute and hear from the rest of the team.
Oh, we worked on the business plan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's actually get to the business plan. And I can't remember if let me go to myIRA.fund real quick, and this redirects to a link tree. Uh, and I don't know if I put the business plan on here. I probably should.
Oh yeah,
Because,
you have it on the progress doc, but I got my own version of it.
well, if you could share that, that would be great. And we could
Yeah.
potentially update the pretty link, which I think redirects to the very, what do you call, no details in it. But anyway, let's see. So here is the link that Ernest just shared on Zoom chat. And let me throw this in the restream here for everybody as well. So if you could, Ernest, walk us through this, and I'll keep up on the screen over here.
Yeah, if you scroll down to where it says mission, vision, values on the menu bar.
Mission, vision, values.
Yeah. So that starts.
And I got to ask the perfectionist in me questions whether we should embrace on dash chain or on chain one word.
Add as the comment.
On chain or on chain comments. Okay. So let me our mission is to revolutionize, and is this big enough for everybody or should I make it slightly larger?
It could be bigger, but it's fine for me.
See how it does on 200%.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
nice.
Cool. At myIRA.fund, our mission is to revolutionize retirement savings by providing a secure, self-directed on-chain IRA solution. We empower individuals to take control of their financial future by integrating decentralized finance opportunities with traditional retirement planning, ensuring accessibility, compliance, and long-term growth in the evolving Web3 ecosystem. So, I, I how does you all give me your feedback as far as what this looked like in getting to this mission statement?
Well, I mean, that's just the basic. That's your mission statement from, your taglines with myIRA.fund. But
Cool.
that's what you're wanting to do is ownership as much as possible, integrating decentralized finance and retirement planning.
Well, you mentioned a word that caught my eye. Because one of the things that I would like to incorporate is cooperative ownership, because that's a core element of our entire ecosystem. So, how could we incorporate cooperative ownership into this mission statement?
I mean, taking control of your financial planning would include that. What you're talking about is more of maybe like a goal or a an aspect of how to take control. And
No,
that
I'm
it's
just talking to the two words cooperative ownership. I want that to be like a core component, like in every mission statement within our entire ecosystem. I'd like to see those two words. And here's part of the strategy on that. Let me open up real
yeah.
quick. And this goes into like a SEO um, sort of dynamic of, oh, I didn't want to do that because I'm incognito.
So
So,
what exactly is cooperatively owned? Because if you're helping them set up their own self-directed IRA, it's not a where's the cooperative come in?
well, so the cooperative comes in because this is one of the differentiators that we're building into myIRA.fund is that it is a member cooperative. So
It's a
it's
member cooperative that you subscribe to get services to, but the cooperative's not holding assets for everybody in the cooperative, correct?
no, but this goes back into why that this is important to me is to embody because myIRA.fund itself is a cooperative ownership structure. And that's one of the core things that want to uh, have as far as a glue, a foundation where I would say any ecosystem brand should have cooperative ownership in its mission statement, in my opinion.
The uh yeah, well, you can add it later when you actually decide what it is. I mean, the cooperative uh, is just a way to take control of your financial future.
Well, so
Um,
like just looking at the AI overview here, cooperative ownership is a business structure where members democratically own and control a business. My IRA fund is a will be a business maybe today if I get around to going to the Secretary of State website with Colorado to create. So it's and like to me a mission statement and a vision statement should set kind of like an ethos, and this is in my opinion a differentiator that we need to bake into every opportunity because going back to like this Google search here, looking at tools, there's only 74,000 search results for cooperative ownership together. This is what my future buddy Joe Paluzzi, the godfather of content marketing, that founded the Content Marketing Institute, is calls a content tilt. So the opportunity for us to be intentional about having cooperative ownership, like up and down the entire business plan, especially within a core statement like a mission statement. I think it should be there, in my opinion.
Sure, then put it in there. Mainly in this document where you would include details about the uh, cooperative is probably where it talks about strategies for attracting and keeping customers. Um, the and then when you get into the legal structure, which is not yet developed part of this, um, but you could say you could just say we empower individuals to cooperatively control their financial future. But this essentially it's focusing more on the yeah. So you just add it as a comment and then like keep going.
Yeah, that's good. I'll just put it up here as a comment.
Yeah. Because there's some other spots like the vision might be a more appropriate place to put.
Yeah, and I quite honestly struggle sometimes what differentiates a mission statement from a vision statement. But how to
Well,
I
vision is
Yeah,
more like,
because
what we anticipate on being, and mission is what we're committed to.
yeah, and so thank you for the commitment aspect because cooperative ownership, I think from my perspective anyway, is a commitment that but I would like to see cooperative ownership included here or in vision statement,
yeah,
wherever
because
it
it's
makes
the
sense.
IRA solution has nothing to do with cooperative. The cooperative is the agency that's providing the information service about compliance and how to grow your retirement,
Well,
right? That's the
I think it,
actual value proposition of joining the cooperative is that you're getting access to educational information to help you manage your retirement on chain.
sure, but I think it's something that I think that's something that we can include. And like here, we gravitated first and foremost to mission, vision, and values, and because it may not resonate with some people, but like me as a cooperative fan, seeing that cooperative ownership as an ethos would resonate more positively and more favorably with me. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
I got the comment in here. So, vision statement. We envision a future where anyone can build and manage their retirement savings seamlessly on, and I'm going to just change this right here to just on chain. Chain. Oh. Um, by leveraging AI driven financial insights, smart contract automation, and secure identity verification, my IRA fund strives to make decentralized retirement investing transparent, efficient, and inclusive for all. Um, and I'm going to put a comment here because uh, um, let's see, comment. Uh, and I'm losing my thought anyway. Core values, decentralization and empowerment, security and compliance, innovation and accessibility, transparency and trust, collaboration and community.
Yeah, so the collaboration and community part is, instead of a strong network, say a cooperative network, kind of
Yeah,
thing to start
go with
bringing
it.
in.
Change it. Um, I would prefer cooperative network compared to strong network because strong is could be open for interpretation.
Yeah.
All right, so mission, vision, and valuables. That's a fabulous start. So what is the next section that you would like to unpack in the business plan?
Oh, well, so then, well, it goes into some market research, but the market research needs to be more focused on US retirement statistics. But just the initial market research shows that, you know, there are currently options. Um, gives some information on, the costs and features of those options. Um, there's some detailed information on the regulatory and legal considerations that we gotta tackle. Um,
What
it
one
just
that
keeps
we'll
going.
add here is, and this is one that Mike uh, that also put on the list, but I Trust Capital, I think, is one of the largest players with over 200,000 customers, but it's a similar
Yeah,
dynamic from a cost standpoint as Alto.
yeah.
What did you think of that?
And let me actually, when you say what did I think of it? It's the 1% transaction fees and what that number that it's cost Tyler and I and since August of 2022 is $7,000.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to avoid.
100%.
Yeah.
So like where we're talking about, whether it's a yearly cost, and we don't know fully what it's going to cost for us from an infrastructure standpoint because the way that I understand, yeah, so that's another conversation. But yeah, the main thing is, and the other thing too, Mike, is that it's a custody situation, and this is one of the things that's highlighted here. No full self custodian required. Those digital assets are custodied by Coinbase, and custodied assets limit your ability to do some more advanced strategies like staking. Because, for example, if Coinbase is, and I don't know what if they just hold the assets or if they stake them, or I have no idea what they do behind the scenes to monetize their business. But like Venice AI, which is we're planning to use Venice AI as a privacy middleware. They have, if you self custody your VVV tokens, and I think that they currently have over 36% of the liquidity staked, which makes that less liquidity available, but it's has a pretty high yield that we don't have access to since we don't have self custody of those assets that Coinbase does.
Yeah, no, they stake every time you stake through Coinbase, they're already staking your tokens, um, and getting they just get a higher rate than you do for staking because they're staking on the platform, getting those yields, then they're passing on slightly lower yields to you, but they make it super easy to stake a ton of different
Um,
tokens.
well, that's potentially just through if you have a Coinbase.com account. Like that's not an
Yeah,
option that we have at all with Alto Crypto IRA. We can't like
yeah,
use the staking functionality that Coinbase may provide for some of those digital assets.
that's a bummer. if that makes
I
sense.
know it's yeah. Don't get me started. First $7,000, 7,000 reasons that we're looking for an alternative solution. Second, where we can really do DeFi because all that we can do is trade digital assets. We can't really do any DeFi strategies with our Alto crypto IRA account. So anyway, um, uh, this is fabulous. I'm gonna work on unpacking this with Mrs. Yonks, Tyler, and if you could Ernest add me as a editor on this document, that would be great.
Also, one question. Can you review with me the tax advantage here, the way we're trying to set it up versus the regular IRA?
The tax advantage is the IRA itself. There's not an additional tax advantage situation. It's just we have different options that we don't have options with currently. So the tax advantage situation is that it's in either a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, and those have different advantages. I'm not going
Yeah,
to unpack all of that because
sure,
that's a
sure.
separate conversation. So the tax advantage situation doesn't change at all. It's just how that we can invest in the methodologies where it's more of where we're doing it instead of just because this is really just a traditional finance situation. Like a lot of these 200 plus cryptocurrencies, these are the same cryptocurrencies. If you go to open up a Coinbase.com central exchange account, these are the same current cryptocurrencies. You just don't have the tax advantaged IRA situation because I don't. This is where the that comes into play.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, great work. Worked on a business plan. So we talked about the business plan, and I'm going to bounce to the team tab for my IRA fund to kind of review some of the stuff. And this, just to pitch events, this is something where opportunities may exist around ETH Denver. I haven't spent that much to unpack these opportunities, but this is something that we'll always be looking at because we're pretty close. And I do have an opportunity to circle back with One Piece Labs that facilitates the ongoing Pitch Dojo. I'm pretty sure that this is a monthly dynamic. And then the slide deck, this is something that's work in progress. Haven't spent too many cycles. But one of the things wanting to do, we created earlier our D form. Let me go down to some of the key deliverables. So this is the biggest one that I'm going to work on getting crossed off. Thinking about any more brands, one that I'm going to put on here is potentially TikTok. I don't know if anybody does anybody on the Zoom right now have much experience with TikTok?
I'm on TikTok.
Do you follow a good amount of crypto Web3 influencers on TikTok?
Uh, Not at the moment. I barely use my TikTok, but when people share, because I'm in the meme community and they have a TikTok account, then I engage in it. So, but to search for crypto, I can do that. Really see, just like Reddit, they have their crypto communities there. I followed some of them on Reddit, but I haven't really thought of uh, TikTok. Most of them are meme communities that extend their visibility on TikTok, but I will surely search for crypto, uh, you know, the the Bitcoin or the Ethereum communities. I will try to look for it.
Okay, so I either way, TikTok has enough users that I think it makes sense to get a brand on there for my IRA fund. So added that, added Farcast or Workcast here. This is the other thing that I think that we should prioritize because one of the things that I was thinking of, and one thing just to kind of go off on a quick little tangent, I'm pretty sure that I created. So this goes into like me right now working to create some best practices for myself. So one of the things that I did was I created an IRA subdomain. I'm not going to unpack all the reasons, but the part of the goal of this was to create a new Web3 account to engage with that just this more of a separation of dynamic because I'm wanting to onboard myself as a founding member into my IRA fund here, whether that's today or tomorrow. It will absolutely be this week. And this is, again, just one of the things. I spun up a Coinbase wallet. I've been increasingly gravitating to using Coinbase hot wallet over MetaMask for several different reasons. But let me actually just sign in here real quick. And this is something that we'll continue to talk about always, best practices, firm believer of find, implement, and refine. And this is one of the things that we're really wanting to streamline through account abstraction. We're not there yet. That's one of the things that we're going to be refining, going back to our launch phases during the first two phases, alpha phase and beta phase. Like here, we're primarily targeting Web3 natives. Whether we implement account abstraction here in the alpha phase or the beta phase, I think that the sooner that we do it, the better. And that's another thing. But here will absolutely be fully embraced with account abstraction. And this is also something that like our AI agents that we'll be creating will have their own ecosystem Web3 wallet using our account abstraction infrastructure. And that's one of the key decisions that we here we're using. And let me highlight Privy plus, oh, I put it down here. Privy plus Pimlico. This is who that we're using for our account abstraction infrastructure. So that's something. Go ahead, Ernest. Were you going to chime in something there?
No, but if there was a lot more to the business plan that starts getting into this where there's more questions.
Um, I agree, and one of the reasons that I deferred back to some of this other stuff from my perspective, we can start onboarding founding members here and collecting the $197 without the business plan, where the business plan is still a work in progress. So it's not until the business plan, like version one of the business plan, doesn't need to be finalized until we flip the switch and then we're ready to start onboarding investment dollars where we're filing our Rule 504 Regulation D for our securities exemption using the SEC Edgar system. So this is I'm right now wanting to see what boxes that we need to check so that we can start onboarding founding members, and then also these founding members can also potentially contribute to the business plan revision process. If that so, does that make sense? Why I kind of gravitated away from the business plan momentarily?
Yeah, but curious what uh exactly what folks are getting for their um initially
So
as a
the
member.
one of the things is that this is limited to 100 people. So the opportunity for them to be a founding member and contribute thought to the business plan, we're really wanting people that are founding members to really feel that they have some founding input into the conversation. Now, granted, I have zero expectations that 100 people are going to contribute any thought leadership to a business plan. So, but if we don't create the opportunity, so this is me looking to create the most minimum MVP where I and when we're talking about a money back guarantee, there's almost a little risk because if somebody doesn't like the direction that we're going in here, we're giving them the opportunity to rage quit or get their $197 back before we go to the next phase. And I think that we're pretty close to creating the opportunity to onboard the where we might not have to have a full-blown custody solution because the opportunity with We Own Legal to have attorneys that could potentially fulfill that through like a probate or a planning attorney as an interim solution while we're still looking for who will be the custodian. That was the other thought that I had.
Cool.
Hold on one second. I got to get a charger. My mouse died on me. All right. So yeah, that's kind of the thought process on what boxes do we need to check so that we can start confidently onboarding the first 100 founding members. And we absolutely do need to get the business plan because that's a prerequisite. Like I said, we have to have a business plan for doing our securities exemption. So besides the deform and the uh, founding member agreement, and this is one of the things um, that I'm going to throw in some chat GPT or some maybe DeepSeek or whatever using Venice to generate a founding member document. I'll create a Google Doc for that so that we can kind of review that. But I would really like to keep it fairly simple because plain English is one of the things that and just thinking about AI agents, I would like to create a super agent or whatever we end up calling our ecosystem agents that specializes in plain English. And the opportunity, I don't, was that one of the things that was used in consideration for the business plan? I haven't looked through the other portions of the business plan.
I mean, we don't currently have anything identified that agent is going to help with. So I don't know what your question is.
Oh, I haven't seen because like you mentioned something about the legal and going back to the business plan here real quick. Well, and I'm looking at the time here. We've only got 6 minutes left. So I mentioned here this is our early day to support any potential contributors across the pond, Europe, um, timeframes. Looking at our schedule, so let me go here to well, I'm on that already. So going to our events, and this is currently filtered on my IRA fund. No upcoming events, but I'm going to schedule here today and tomorrow. And this time is going to run out through the rest of this week. This is something that I'm going to get booked, but going to do the same the one that we've been running, the 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, as another IRA fund office hours. One of the things that I'm going to take as an action item is to work on getting a founding member agreement because that's something that I would like to get finalized because again, I'm wanting to personally onboard as founding member number one. And the more that we can have all these boxes that we want to check where we can, where I can go through this as a founding member number one and then iterate that process as we continue to onboard more people. One of the things that I was having a side conversation with about Mike the other day is that I would really like to work towards creating a myIRA.Fund webinar where it would be about a 20-minute basically pitch. So, the opportunity for it to be more than a pitch, but more positioned like a webinar, is an opportunity that I think that we should work. And to me, that I would actually prefer to prioritize that even over spinning more cycles on the business plan right now. We absolutely need to check the business plan box because we again can't begin onboarding investor dollars into myIRA.Fund until that box is checked. So, but I think here by the end of the week, especially if we're going to run 2 a day office hours and then working asynchronously in between there, I think that we can get maybe even today, get a founding member agreement drafted for a version 1. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking and hear what your all's thoughts are as far as just thinking about like what would you personally need to see from what we have in place for yourself to open up your wallet and commit to the $197.
Results.
Well, that comes over here. We're gonna fulfill the AI agents equals results. So thank you for chiming
Right.
in the results there, Mike. Love that.
Is there a way, Jason, that you can compile the list of the projects that needed, like, $7, 100, things like that, and just show us the commitment we need to raise in order to be ambassadors? I just wanted to see my expense uh, go.
So the goal with on-chain ambassadors, and this is something that I communicated to Mike in a side conversation, is right now we have two communities, AiAgents.Box and iLocal FYI. That's going to be a very low $7 a year membership situation. That's going to be the minimum viable community to access our on-chain ambassador program. And keep in mind, our on-chain ambassador program is not something it's going to be something that we keep a very close grasp on to onboard people, because we really want that to the goal with the on-chain ambassador is to have like educational things, like because you think about promoting myIRA.Fund, there might be different uh that's a different conversation than like getting somebody to commit $7 for AiAgents.Box. So the goal with on-chain ambassadors is to not have any cost to be an ambassador, but it's more of an educational and a stewardship thing that we're wanting to foster within our ecosystem.
You know what I
Uh,
think would be helpful to Lotus's comment is let's build a table. Let's build
yeah.
a grid table with all of this in it.
What is this for, and the amount? What is this for, and the amount, and things like that? Because right now, when we do this separate kind of meetups, my mind is scattered all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm supposed to do this, supposed to do that, and that way we can check off the boxes. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I've done this, I've done this. I'm trying to be organized in my mind and seeing a visual thing to kind of say, oh, okay, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, just to make it easy for our community and me,
Well,
of course, because my mind
and
works that way.
I mean, we can create. I'm not exactly sure what you're envisioning, but like a matrix or something. Because like one of the concerns that I have is, and this is also something that we need to be very thoughtful of, and the term that I will use is we need to create a well thought out user journey. And this is where, like, because if we want to bring more people with us, talking about all the stuff that we're building can be very confusing. So this is where we need to create a good user journey, because like talking to somebody about the ideal founding member for my IRA fund is a very different founding member, in my opinion, than AiAgents.Box, that also may be a very different founding member for iLocal FYI. So talking to one person about all three of those opportunities will make their head explode.
Right.
So
I guess I don't want my head explode because I'm in all of the projects.
yeah,
That's basically, I guess I have to build it myself, and I have to bug you on
yeah, and like I mean,
if you don't want
right
to
now,
have one resource for the core team to kind of check check the boxes as we go along is really in my mind would be helpful for me, and I don't know how everybody else uh,
I think
absorb all the
I
information.
concur with you, Lotus, a little bit. I think that yeah, because I'm structured too. Like I was talking to Jason about, I look at things in a hierarchy and almost like a script or that type of deal. But the what I was commenting on was the alpha beta phase and launch. That's great, and I think Jason tried to capture it there. But if we had a table that was like, okay, this is your ambassador level, this is what it consists of. I mean, a description of it, and then costs associated. Then the next one, the alpha, you go the alpha stage, the beta stage, so people know if they get engaged what their expectations are and what the commitment is from the organization to provide, which is very similar to what you have there, Jason. But I think putting it all into a table that is easily discernible would be helpful. To Lotus's point, I think she's trying to make a checklist of, hey, okay, so we've got to get this done, this done, this done, and more of a functional checkbox in the business plan in order to accomplish some tasks that she feels she can contribute to. Is that correct, Lotus? You guys hear me?
I guess it doesn't have to be in the business plan because our business plan is way tailored to a specific project, but
Yeah.
mostly for our use since we're all in those projects. I mean, and even if the people we onboard is not gonna use all the projects, but we are, and I thought that uh, I could be more structured in my mind what my financial responsibilities are going forward and moving forward with all of our other projects. Just because
I
I have
follow
to
you.
go through a budget and see, oh, okay, I have money for this right now, and I have money for this right now. So it's just really, and if that does not resonate with Jason, I'll just have to bug you, Jason, for everything that requires a monetary equivalent, being a member or being an ambassador or being a founding member. You know what I mean?
Lotus, how about putting together something in your mind, a visual that you think might convey what you're talking about?
That's why I said once I built it, because I have to bug Jason in the DMs just to ask him, okay, do we pay for this? Whatever. Because when we're in a meeting, I'm usually out and about, and I don't have a piece of paper to write down everything that's being said or price range or whatnot, and it can get complicated in my mind what I'm responsible for in order to join the project. So once I built that, I will share it to the core team get a link and do a PDF, I guess, or y'all can see and have a checklist, because that's how basically my mind works. It I know Jason said he can do this in his mind, but my mind needs to be organized. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like
well,
project management, basically. Yeah.
and this goes back to like creating a user journey, because like onboarding, going through a user journey of joining AiAgents.Box, like one of the things that I have as a personal action item is to create a blog post that says, hey, Yonk's invitation to join AiAgents.Box is a founding member in 2025 Q1, or whatever I end up calling that blog post, because the goal is that I'm wanting to create a model that other people such as yourself, Lotus or Mike or Ernest, can basically copy and paste, and you add your own personality, your own personal brand into that. Because it's very different of like creating a matrix for all of the different projects, but like we want to keep it as simple as possible, because you think about like a participation ladder. We want to strategically move people up the participation ladder from like an explorer, somebody that's just kind of dipping their toe in, exploring what we're building, then becoming a member, then becoming an ambassador. And there's those three things: explorer, member, and ambassador, are elements that we're incorporating into our entire ecosystem, whether it's AiAgents.Box or iLocal FYI or myIRA.fund. Those three participation ladder elements will exist. And that's one of the things that we're building right now through these conversations, is what that looks like, and the opportunity to document a user journey where it's like, okay, so somebody gets exposed to a social media post or an ad, and then they're like, okay, well, join the webinar. And this goes back to like what I was talking about, creating a webinar for my IRA fund. And then you invite somebody to a webinar, and then they like, okay, well, I want to join this. And the opportunity for us to have that same user journey throughout our entire ecosystem. Now, make no mistake, I'm not going to be holding a webinar to onboard people into AiAgents.Box that has a $7 a year financial commitment, because most people, especially people that are in first world countries, $7 is like, people blow that all the time. My drinks on the cruise were like $13. So and that it's a different level of commitment. So this is where we need to define a user journey, and then like, and with AiAgents.Box, the journey that I'm defining is I'm going to create a blog post that says, hey, here's my invitation, because we're positioning our ecosystem as an inclusive ecosystem by invitation. And we as ambassadors are going to be inviting people into our ecosystem. And the more that we create a journey that people don't get confused by, and whatever, like one of the things that I know is an opportunity is creating a good task management system where, we can collectively, check tasks off, because tasks to build a foundation in the infrastructure that we're building are very different tasks than onboarding a new member into our ecosystem. So, and yeah, the more that we can be thoughtful about creating the documentation, yeah, and I see the tasks management is built into Google Docs. I'm using, quite honestly, Google Docs a lot more than I want to right now. It's just the most collaborative aspect. I'm not confident that, because I don't like, I don't think that Google Docs is a great place for doing task management, but I might be wrong. But I'm very apprehensive on I've tried to de-Google myself, but that's another conversation altogether. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're already 10 minutes past. Anyway, we'll be back here in less than 4 hours for our round two of my IRA fund office hours.
Yeah, I'll just add that So in the business plan is very simple user journey, as we've kind of identified before. And so the ambassador program is different. It's a future marketing flywheel department. Right. The myIRA.fund is the project that is the prototype for some other things that we're going to do in other projects. So it's best not to introduce anybody to like all the projects, but uh and essentially there's just one project that we're focused on right now, which is the myIRA.fund project. And so understanding what that is, I think once there's a member agreements, like you pointed out, that might make things a little bit more clear on what is being offered. My understanding and how it's written in the business plan is that essentially, well, currently it's $200. Well, the myIRA.fund cooperative provides to help you move to an on-chain based self-custody IRA solution. And right now, or soon, the first entrance, or I guess the first part of the user journey after being understanding what a user is being a member of the cooperative and then getting access to the services that the cooperative provides. And currently, that would be access to the social media groups and the information done in the live streams and, you know, direct participation in the planning meetings of the cooperative. And so and currently all that we're giving all that stuff away for free, and there's not a scheduled amount of content, that's being tasked out, task managed. Um, so that's the main value points right now in the pre-launch phase, is that for $200 you can subscribe to a community that's going to help educate you on moving retirement savings on chain.
Yeah, and one of the talking about, and this is something that I brought up, like one of the things that want to consider and likely include for our founding members, because this is something that I want to personally use myself, is anything LLM in a Docker container, because this will allow us to get better at using enterprise grade cloud infrastructure, whether it's Google Cloud or Fleek or Azure, or whatever other Versal.com is another widely used, especially within the ecosystem infrastructure provider. And just I saw that there was some good comments in Zoom real quick, on the Zoom chat. Just wanted to reflect that right now planning to build web infrastructure using WordPress.org. I've used a good amount of the task management tools, Trello. I still use Trello for doing some various different things, but Fluent Boards is we're planning to use Fluent CRM, and Fluent Boards is within a suite of tools that Fluent has built using a WordPress.org backend. So that's the plan. And like just going back to Ernest's point about on-chain ambassadors, that's where personally I want to spend majority of my time in the second half of 2025, is largely working with and building out our on-chain ambassador infrastructure. And currently the plan is to use, again, WordPress.org and a suite of Fluent tools, including Fluent Boards, that we already have existing with Rocket.net cloud web hosting provider that we can add more scale to, that can continue to scale up. They're a WordPress.org specialty hosting provider that has great response times with WordPress. And the opportunity as to create our own WordPress AI agent with assisting existing, because I don't know if people have seen, but there's blood in the waters around WordPress. And I'm not going to unpack that, but that's something that regularly shows up on my radar. And a lot of that is this ongoing legal conflict between WP Engine and WordPress.org that is largely owned by Automatic, that Matt Mullenweg, the WordPress co-founder or founder. But anyway, that's another side conversation. Anyway, the goal is to definitely create a well-defined user journey that reduces confusion, that makes it easy to fulfill people's needs, and then as people, but this is where choose your own adventure, I will always say, because we want to give on-chain ambassadors the autonomy to run their show how that they want to run their show. And while we can create tools and infrastructure to support them, make that easier, and that's largely the lens that I'm looking through in consideration for building out, because I will know that I have had success with what we're building when I'm no longer the number one ambassador within our ecosystem, that somebody else is doing a better job. And there's a lot of opportunity for people that have marketing chops to bring their expertise to what we're building here, because we have a lot of expertise surrounding on-chain, Web3, crypto, and leaning, as we've seen, heavily into experimenting and deploying AI agents, which is a greenfield right now, since we're still very early to the AI agents unfolding narrative. But anyway, any final thoughts before we bid adieu? We're already 17 minutes past the hour, and that's why we're having a second office hours today, so that we can continue to check off these boxes, so that we have an MVP that we can confidently onboard our friends and family, and then start throwing marketing dollars at, which is my goal, is to create social campaigns for onboarding our first 100 members, and then the next 1,000 members, and then the next 100,000 after that.
So that campaign, so essentially in the pre-launch phase, I hear that there's going to be a minimum amount of content that's produced as a service to the cooperative members. And so I'm assuming then that that'll be gated content by your founder's NFT, correct? And then I'm curious, like, what's that content that?
So think of it as like one of the things that I want us to get great at are like mastermind groups, and the opportunity for us to like, because the goal with the phase 0, our alpha phase, is to just use composable solutions like safe multi-sig, and just
No,
bring best.
I'm talking about the content. So the founders are one, they get to directly participate in some meetings, planning meetings, obviously, but you're also essentially promising a certain amount of content in the pre-launch phase that's going
No,
to be the gated
we haven't.
content for members.
As far as I'm aware, we haven't really promised anything, like, and this is one of the things that we can create an iterative process, but like, what are the benefits of being a founding member is one of the things that we can and should define. And I think that that's a different scope than the founding member agreement, but defining some benefits. And that's something that we haven't really had that many conversations on, because I'm operating through the belief that we don't have to have any exclusive content for founding members. Just me having an account that I can do DeFi through an IRA account. That's the only thing that I need, where I will be more than happy with a $197 lifetime price point, and even a $197 a year price point compared to the $7,000 that I've spent with my current solution. So yeah, from my opinion, we don't have to have, because the people that we're largely targeting are people that have existing funds. And one important statistic for us to keep in mind: 65 million IRA accounts with an average IRA account balance of $194,000. So, and like a small slice of those people are Web3 natives, and that's who that we're targeting. We're also targeting crypto bros, new crypto millionaires with number go up in
We know what we're
2025.
who we're targeting. The question is exactly what are we providing in each stage? So the benefits in each
So all
stage
that we have
can
to
be
provide Ernest in the
identified
first
as
phase is
well.
checking the compliance box where I can have the tax advantage situation and do it on chain, because I there's not a great solution for that right now.
And that's in, so actually having the on-chain solution is in which phase?
Phase zero. That's can where we can bring over existing IRA dollars or make new contributions. Like
Yeah, so
people,
that's the next phase. So what's,
no, that's phase zero. So like a safe multi-sig.
well, you have
Um,
pre-launch. Remember, you have the pre-launch phase before phase zero. So that's what I'm trying to get clarity. I think everybody's trying to get clarity on, this particular stage. And so you said the next stage, the aspect is clear, the actual on-chain solution,
no, so
and
that will
then
be
it's
the main
essentially
benefit that
just
we're providing.
okay. And then so in the pre-launch phase, we are are planning and figuring out that on-chain solution. And then your first
Well,
funnel, your first
there's not a whole
user,
lot to figure out, because it's just that we need to have the whether it's an estate or probate a planning attorney that may be able to check that box, or a custodian. We just need to have that where we can move over capital. And like one of the things that we will talk about during our upcoming office hours is Otoco, the legal wrapper, because it may make sense for us to partner or potentially create our own solution. So we're just needing to have the framework that allows an individual like myself to put funds into a safe multi-sig, where I can use the DApp capability that exists within a safe multi-sig, where that is my on-chain IRA solution for myself. That's all that we have to provide for our alpha phase. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
keeping
So
it
you
real.
essentially the safe multi-sig has to be compliant with the checking
Yeah,
LLC that has to be set up.
so it's basically like we're creating a self-directed IRA solution that's on chain.
Yeah, but you got to create that checkbook LLC, and then the checkbook LLC operates the multi-sig, correct?
Yeah, so that would be like Otoco.io is a on-chain solution for creating an LLC, a series LLC, or whatever solutions that they have. And I'm a huge fan of the Wyoming series LLC, and whether that's something that we can do like a white label solution through them, or whatever the case may be. That's just getting the framework so that we can provide a compliant on-chain IRA solution that's functionally a self-directed / checkbook IRA. And that's all that we need to provide. The bonus, like I've said, anything LLM, that in my opinion is a bonus. That's on where we can start experimenting with and that's not a for sure thing, because I'm not sure if that's something that a lot of people are interested in. This is a benefit that I would like to provide for myself. And whether it's something that would want to continue to use, I think it's more of an interim solution. But that's all stuff that we can define on, and the main thing that we need to deliver is a compliant solution that is, in my opinion, like a best practices, and that can potentially be implemented slightly different. But the biggest thing is like a safe multi-sig that is using that functions as the on-chain IRA solution, and that's really for the alpha phase, phase zero, and the beta phase, phase one, all that we really need to provide. We're not really looking until phase two, the launch phase, to have the AI agents in place where our UX UI is really refined.
Well, so you need to define the key model for your for your multi-sig.
Yeah, so that's it's already defined. Like it's 2 of 4 signers, where like the best practices would be um, like a ledger and then a treasure, and then the third would be us as a support dynamic, and then the fourth would be the estate probate attorney. And then where, if like myself, got plane crash or whatever, that the estate and our support person could transfer those on the execution of the benefactor, for the IRA
So
beneficiary.
it sounds like you got a combination of like a manager and trustee model.
Yeah, and that's where again, that it would fulfill what would be a compliant within the terms of a safe, to fulfill a beneficiary element, with us being the custodian of the of that situation.
Yeah, you would have a IRA account holder. The IRA account holder is a key holder in the multi-sig. The LLC manager would hold a key, and then any neutral third parties or co-managers would hold another key,
Mhm.
right? Does
Yeah, and
that
this
sound?
is yeah, and this is where like the account abstraction just adds more value to simplifying that dynamic, because like you think about attorneys like not having to store a bunch of seed phrases or whatever, where that aspect is abstracted away through an account abstraction dynamic, is the goal with the account abstraction. But that's something that just need to get some documentation around, and that's one of the things that we can work on, creating some collateral. That would be some great collateral, to have on a blog, to talk about our best practices and stuff like that. And definitely one of the things that should be included in the business plan. And right now, again, the thoughts are just, what boxes do we need to check so that we can confidently start onboarding these Web3 natives, to really get the process refined, so that we can go from an alpha phase to a beta phase, and then go from there.
Yeah, well, it seems that you got to have a clear operating agreement for how your transactions are approved, how disputes are resolved, and how and who holds the keys.
When you say
Um,
what dispute resolution process would you need to see? Because this is something that's going to be managed by an individual. So it's just one individual, not a party of
um,
individuals.
well, no, you got a multi-sig. So each key is an individual on the multi-sig, and one of
Right,
those
but I
has
would
to
have
be
I would have 2 of the four keys where I wouldn't need to get anybody else's permission because then it wouldn't be an individual retirement arrangement.
If you held all the keys and you died, you'd be screwed. So you
No,
said you
so
have
that's
a,
where two of four signers, I would hold two of those keys, like two hardware wallets, and then one would be our support person, the other would be an estate planning, so that if I had an untimely death, then our support and the estate planner could execute the beneficiary's desires.
exactly. So that estate planner is not you. That's another person. So if
Right.
there's some
That,
type of dispute between the estate planner and you, that has to
but that
be
No, so going back to the scenario, the only time that the estate planner would get involved is if I was out of the picture and they would be executing the
and
bit.
that
So there
all
would be,
has to be laid out. That's a potential dispute. That's fine.
well, it's not, it's just a workflow. It's not a dispute. That's just the execution, and that's something that we've already got templates from our legal, and this is where going back to also going to be launching We Own Legal Network to onboard attorneys to potentially fulfill this while we're seeking to become our own trust custodian situation. It will likely still be a best practices to have an estate, probate, a planning, but that would be an optional dynamic. But that's something that is again, it so getting our MVP is not that far off here.
Yeah, I'm just saying that part of it's an operating agreement is required by law, and part of that operating agreement is a section on dispute resolution, which
Yeah,
it
are you talking about
can
in
be
the
templated.
in
I'm just telling you.
yeah, yeah. So when you're talking about like an operating agreement for the checkbook LLC, yeah, that's another thing that would need to be checked. But those are all templated agreements that we have access to or could easily create. But anyway, we're already 30 minutes past. We'll be back here in now 3.5 hours for our office hours, our second office hours for my IRA fund, and this is just again leaning heavily into getting our MVP launched. But adios until next time, everybody.